What is up, ninjas? My name is Sam World. So today I was at the gym deadlifting, curling, bench pressing. You guys are probably like saying talking out of your ass, you chubby ass. Nah, but in all seriousness, guys, I was deadlifting and I had my Spotify playlist on shuffle, and then this song comes on that I haven't heard in a while from Dimitry Vangelis and Wyman called Legacy. And then I was like, oh my god, I remember these guys. I heard Payback, I heard a lot of their old stuff, and then I heard their new stuff, and I was like, yo, I'm falling in love with progressive house all over again. Then I started thinking to myself on my ride back, yo, I never actually made a proper tutorial on that Supersaw that they use on the drop that is so nice, so warm, not a lot of highs like most of you guys are using. And now we are here because today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make their Supersaw, guys. Now, other artists that utilize the Supersaw are going to be people like Martin Garrix. That's why I added him on the title. Alright, now making the Supersaw is actually pretty simple, but there's a couple of things that we need to do to get it that way, okay? And there are going to be a few secret techniques here that again are very simple, but Julian Gray recently posted this and I was like, alright Julian, I don't feel as bad anymore about teaching this. Now guys, if you guys want to support the channel, I am having a Black Friday sale at evilsounds.com. Everything's gonna be 40% off. I'm too much of a cheapskate to make it 50%. I want that extra 10%. But if you guys have been wanting to support the channel and you've been waiting for a sale, this is the one. This is the one for the year. This is as low as it's gonna get. So again guys, thank you guys for your support on all my sound banks and all my work, guys. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do what I do as a living. And as a thank you, I'm gonna offer that, and as well as keep making videos for you guys. If you guys have any tutorial suggestions, leave them down in the comments below. If I feel like I can teach it properly, if I can do it justice and actually get you to where you want to be with that question, I will make that tutorial. Without further ado, let's get straight into making some supersaws.
Alright guys, and welcome inside of Ableton, where we're going to be doing this in one instance of Silent 1. If you want to add other layers after this, you for sure can, but this layer should be enough to get you there. Alright, so pretty much we're going to have two midis here. We're going to have the Dimitry Vangelis and Wyman song called Fan. And we're going to have the Martin Garrix and Satko song called Forever. Alright, so let's get straight into this, guys. So the first thing we're going to do is that this sound is going to be actually 4 layers. So if you think about it like in the terms that each oscillator creates a specific sound. First oscillator is going to be 8 voices, a saw that we're going to detune. So with the detunement, we're detuning saws, but you want to be really kind of specific about where you detune. Higher, it gets a bit ravey, but you want to find a little bit like around 11 o'clock. Alright, now on the other layer here on oscillator A2, we're going to do the exact same thing, almost just a little bit different on the detunement, so it sounds a little different, add something else. Now, when you hear the Phantom song from Dimitry Vangelis and Wyman, you know, it sounds like a beautiful kind of like, you know, it doesn't sound like a saw that's trying to destroy your ears. It sounds more like a nice, mystical, wavy saw, like a girl by the lake with a white dress running across the lake and the white dress is flowing back. Then you realize it's a fucking ghost, but you get the idea there. So in order to do that, guys, we need to increase the release on this, and we're also going to have to give a hint of attack. The attack is going to make so the sound is not t-t, but more like fwa fwa, very majestic. Again, this is how you give a sound that characteristic of sounding majestic, a huge release and a bit of attack. Now, one of the things about the sound as well is that the dynamics on it, if you hear it, kind of, it's like the sound kind of flows back down. So this tells me that the sustain needs to be down. So pretty close as it is, but this is the second layer for the sound. Okay, so in this layer, what we're going to do is use another saw. Now, this one, you're going to have to detune heavily, mainly because what we're going to do is put it up an octave, and if we don't detune heavily on it, what tends to happen is that you can see it kind of sounds a bit, yeah, so obviously if someone detunes like at 9 o'clock and they put this in, they're like, nah, I don't think this is going to work. But the key thing is to have this at a very high detunement, a little bit higher than the other one. Now we're going to give it the same, pretty much the same amp here, and write it here. So you can see it's fairly close. There's a couple of things that we need to do, and that little removal disc is bothering the hell out of me. Let's pull it out, homie. All right, there we go. So that's gone there. So pretty much, guys, that's going to be pretty much kind of like halfway there, but there's a few things that we can do to make the sound even cleaner. The first thing is that we can run these through filters and just lower them down to like around 9 o'clock. From there, we're going to open this up with a cutoff A/B. We're not going to open it up all the way, because the mistake that I see a lot, and this is why your saws don't sound like theirs, is because you're opening it up all the way. So the trick here is to have it open up kind of to the point where you start to lose that high sound. And I made a video on this on how to get a cleaner Supersaw. Remove the highs on the Supersaw. Put your own white noise on top of it, because the white noise produced by a Supersaw is not the greatest. Once we're done there, the next thing we're going to do is put another EQ. And this EQ, we're just going to get rid of the lows here. Now, there's one thing missing, and this is for both the Martin Garrix and both, you know, the Dimitry Vangelis and Wyman song, and that is the reverb that they use is just, and that is the secret to their sound. It's the reverb. Kind of all the other stuff we did, but the reverb is where it's at. If you don't get the reverb right, you can at least not even try. All right, so with the reverbs that they use, they're heavy, guys. They're heavy reverbs, like around 50-60%. The key here is that you want to design the reverb to where it helps accentuate the sound more. So one of the biggest tips I can give you is to put your reverb at 100%, and from there edit it. So obviously I don't want highs, because yeah, that's not, yeah. So I want kind of more lows here. Next thing is the size will push a sound back. So when you're hearing the reverbs, you want to hear if you can hear the reverb in your face or more towards the back. How long is it? That will tell you the decay time. So it's very important here that we kind of get that right. So size. You can see how that creates this nasty ass resonations happening. And let's put this here. So what we're going to do is increase the size. And there we go. We got something really close. Now, the mistake I see a lot is that people do this. You know, they make too much reverb, or they have too little. I find like the sweet spot most of the time when you're working with reverb, guys, is going to be between 1 second and 3 seconds, especially when you're using it more as a give the sound, accentuate it to make it feel like it's in the room. So here what we're going to have is just 60% on it. Now, the key thing that you have to know with the Supersaw, guys, is that the high frequencies, the super high ones that usually you get with the saw, in the Dimitry Vangelis and Wyman song, what they do is that they have this right hitting. So as they cut the highs out of the Supersaw, they're making room for the right that is playing there. So if we hear that, it's going to sound like... Okay, so here... You know, they're making room for that. They also have that white noise going, so that's where all of those highs are coming from. The other thing here as well is that when you get rid of the highs on the Supersaw like that, you kind of get rid of that nasty phase on top. But like I explained in my video on one tip to get a cleaner Supersaw, and you can always add it back in if you want the noise to go with it for sure. You can make another silent one layer that's just noise and then just level it properly. But that's about it. Now, as we move along to the next one, which is the Martin Garrix one. You can kind of see that it's there as well. It's the same Supersaw that they're using. It's just a little bit different. Like, it's more slower, as you can see. We are going to put a mono legato on it so we get that glide as well. So from here, you can control this. Let's say you don't like the highs. You can put... The key with this sound here is that, again, it's very similar to the one Matisse and Sacco have, where the sustain isn't really high, but they have a long decay and long release. That's going to help achieve the sound, because if I have this low, but if we have that long release, the sound will repeat, but you won't lose that nice sustain. And the beautiful thing about this, guys, is that when the decay hits, decay is making the sound go down in volume, slow, especially at this rate. If we have it here, it's going to be more of a pluck, but you want to have that, because if we have this high, usually it sounds like bah. I prefer it like this, where you get a little bit of a reducement in volume. So you can see, if I get rid of the reverb and the EQ here, and if I get rid of the filter, this is what makes the sound, what makes it sound so. This does not sound close to what we made. And yeah, it's simple. But as you can see, it's just so fucking effective when simplicity, like Julian Gray's shared post. It's about doing enough of something right, I guess. And this is something that I haven't seen on a YouTube tutorial, so I wanted to share it with you guys, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. I hope that you guys have a good Thanksgiving. Like I said, we do have a Black Friday sale going on at evilsounds.com. If you want to support the channel, guys, you can find a lot of sound banks. You can find the Martin Garrix Leads pack for $5. I'll leave the link in the description below for that, and also the link to the Evil Sounds. But everything is going to be 40% off starting tomorrow, guys, so make sure to check it out. And I hope that you guys have fun producing. I had to make this video after hearing Dimitry Vangelis and Wyman. I had to make a proper tutorial on them just so that you guys can appreciate the sound a bit more. And also, if you want to use it, you can definitely go for it as well. You can use these techniques in any genre of music that utilizes a supersaw, like hardstyle, where you don't want to have that nasty high end. You want more of a mystical vibe like this. But with that being said, guys, you guys take care, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the feedback stream. Peace out.